Hello everyone. I just got done mixing some ink, and partly because of that and partly because I got some new things, I wanted to go over some new supplies you'll be seeing in my videos going forward. So let's get right into it. I decided that the 98-pound paper probably wasn't going to be enough for what I wanted to do, and it's not quite close to the liter manga paper. Not as close as I want it to be. So, and beyond that, some of our pictures here, they get a little warped because of the water, and I would like to just get a little bit heavier paper to try to remedy that problem. So I went to Michael's to get this actually, and it's the same size. We want to keep the 11 by 14 because it's very similar to the manga papers. The manga papers are about 10 by 14. And when we're practicing, we want to have something similar in size. Beyond that, this one's 10 pounds heavier, so, and a little bit closer to some of the heavier weight manga paper that we will be getting. So hopefully it doesn't warp as much. If it does, there's other things we can do like taping it down. We'll try a few things, but we'll also try to use slightly drier washes instead of a full-blown wet wash, which we can get with probably using a slightly drier brush dipping into our inks. So I can't wait to test this out. You'll see me using it probably in the next video, actually, coming Friday. Beyond that, we are still using the classic Tachikawa nib holders with the G nib and Maru nib right here. G and the Maru is the A nib. And then we are also still using the glass pen to do our outlining in our panels, as well as sticking to the platinum carbon ink for our main waterproof ink. It's nice because it has a little well in there that you can refill just by tipping it upside down, so it always kind of stays at the same level until you're really running out. Over here, I'm using a Stay Wet pad. I could probably use a normal piece of paper, but I like these. They're a little bit larger. They don't let the water soak through very well, so it doesn't get onto my desk here. These I just got on Amazon. And that, we are using Yasatomo Sumi ink, and that's what we use to mix our inks here. It is a water-based ink and non-permanent, so it's not waterproof like the platinum carbon ink. I decided to mix a 9 tonal range, or 9 tone range, so we can basically just pick one and use it when we're ready to try to mimic those green tones and shadings that we see some of the other artists do. Ink is not an easy thing to work with, so I started with this one. This one's mathematically correct, evenly split, and as you see, there's almost no variation. You got a little variation down here when you get to the lighter ones. And then this one was a little bit too much on the other end. It took probably 10 times in between this plus another few times to make it to this one, which is pretty close. We might tweak it a little bit. These might be a little bit close, these might be a little bit too close, but overall I think we got mostly what we need, and we probably won't even end up using all of them, but this way we can figure out what we will use and what'll help us the best. When mixing the inks, you do want to use some distilled water. You can buy it anywhere, or not anywhere, but most general stores or Walmart. You want to use distilled water because it doesn't contain any contaminants, so it won't mold, or it has less likely to mold when you're putting in a sealed container that's going to be sealed for quite some time. Now, another precautionary thing you can do is I added a tiny little drop of clove oil. It's what they add to a lot of traditional inks apparently, and it can also prevent mold. You can also add alcohol, but that will evaporate after so many times opening it, so it will eventually need refreshed, and that could be an issue for some people. I use the oil because it'll stay in there until it's empty. We still have our 2 cups, or 1 cup, plus another cup that I'm going to be adding because I don't want to, whenever I'm using the water-based ink versus, I believe this is acrylic-based, I don't want to mix which ones I'm washing in, because I don't want the acrylic particles to get onto the water brushes, which kind of leads into the next part. We got 2 small little packs of brushes. We got one for watercolor that we will mainly use with the water-based inks, and we got one for acrylic that we will mainly use with the acrylic-based ink. I got 2 small variety packs because as we experiment testing these, mimicking the screen tones, we will need to probably use different brushes and different techniques, like dry techniques versus wet techniques. That about wraps it up, and honestly I can't wait to start using all this stuff. Everybody keep drawing, and I'll see you on the next one.